It doesn't sound good.
Okay, I have 7 p.m. Appreciate everybody being here tonight. We kind of have a full plate for our agenda for the evening. Just kind of starting. We will have 2 public hearings to start the meeting tonight. After those public hearings, we will roll into our normal Planning Commission meeting. We're going to take care of these public hearings here to start in. So I've got 7:01, and we will start in on the Comcast site plan public hearing. Just kind of quick housekeeping items. I'm Trey White, the chairman of the Vilonia Planning Commission. The purpose of this public hearing meeting is to obtain citizen comments and concerns on the site plans that are being presented tonight. Before we get started, I'd like to give a brief overview on how we intend for the meeting to flow. We're going to split this into 2 public hearings. As I said, first will be the Comcast site plan hearing, and then we'll do the public hearing on the duplex development. For each public hearing, first we'll have the presentation of the site plan development by the applicant. If you just come up and describe kind of what you have going on. The dialogue between the applicant and the Planning Commission or the public will be minimal, if any. More the time just to describe or a presentation of what's going on with the development. After the applicant presentation is completed, then we'll open the floor for public comments or concerns. There are a few rules. If you've been here before, these are kind of boilerplate rules that we go over each time. With a few rules we like to follow for the public comment time. We'd ask that all speakers must state their name and address and confirm they are a resident of Vilonia. And as Jay mentioned earlier, if you don't mind, if you haven't signed in, please sign in on the sign-in sheet tonight. We would ask that each speaker keep their time to 2 to 3 minutes. And please be courteous and considerate. Sometimes we have disagreeing opinions. We understand that, but we ask that you be courteous and considerate with your language and your actions. After the public comment time is completed, we will then offer the applicant the opportunity for any closing comments. It's more of a time to maybe address any public comments that came up during that time. After the closing comments, we will adjourn the public hearing, and then tonight transition to the next public hearing. After that one's done, we will transition into our regular scheduled Planning Commission meeting. And please note we're having a public hearing prior to the Planning Commission, so we as the Planning Commission can take all comments into consideration. Okay? All right. So at this time, Comcast site plan. Is it Ronnie? Yes. If you don't mind, come up to the mic and just kind of describe what you have going on. We have received an email, and it gave us 2 or 3 sheets there, kind of some plans or of what the installation you have going on. And also, please notice the Vilonia Planning Commission, and as the public, this is outside of the Vilonia city limits, just outside the city limits. Okay.
Good. First, let me say thank you to everyone for giving us the opportunity to come in. My name is Ronnie Coleman. I'm with Comcast. Spent my entire career with the company, and I've lived in Central Arkansas for 10 years. So I'm very familiar with the area, and I have with me is Angela Parker. We're both in external affairs for Comcast. What we're doing is about a year, I guess almost about a year ago now, the state of Arkansas, they put out a grant program to be able to expand rural broadband into the counties across the state. And Comcast was an applicant. We put in our application for Faulkner County, and we were awarded that grant. It's a public-private partnership. Comcast puts up about 50% of the investor capital to be able to build plans that the state matched. Pretty much matched our investment's about $14 million. And we're going to be building about 1,600 homes across Faulkner County. A lot of them are right around Vilonia in And, I know I came through Otto coming from Little Rock, and that's part of the area. And then there's some up in the northwest part of the county. And again, a pretty sizable, portion of the project area is in that kind of the southeast part of Faulkner. And then there's a little bit in the very western side of Faulkner County as well. So that said, there's certain equipment that we have to be able to offer, because it is a true fiber optic system. We'll all be offering them, fiber to the home. It's called EPON technology for this field. And what it'll mean is we'll be able to offer all the residents the same services we offer today in Central Arkansas, and Little Rock, North Little Rock, and all the surrounding communities that we serve. And again, there's a certain kind of fiber equipment that we have to place to be able to do a bill like this. We'll be coming in from Cabot. We actually served Cabot. We built out that market about, a little over a year ago now. And so we'll be coming this direction and we actually need a piece of property, and we've identified this piece of property. You have that, as you mentioned, in the site plan. And what will go on that property will be it's about a 10 by 17, 10 by 18 building. It's a metal structure. If you've seen I know you have like a cell tower, for instance, the boxes that you see at the bottom of cell towers, it really just houses fiber equipment and data processing equipment, and that's what will go into this building. It will sit on a concrete pad, as you've seen. We'll have a generator. I think it's a 50 kilowatt diesel generator, and obviously the generator is there just to keep the network up if the commercial power were to go down. So it is just a backup generator only, and that sits behind on the site plan. It sits right behind that building. The property that we're looking at is about 2.84 acres, and the way we rode and looked at it before we came over here, it looks like it fronts 64, and we would just clear out enough. It looks like a kind of a wooded piece of property today, but we just clear out enough, and certainly keep up. There won't be anybody there full time. I didn't want to say that. It's not like there's going to be traffic coming in and out of there. This will be a static location, which means the equipment is there and it's processing data traffic for us, and so it doesn't require anybody to be there, other than just coming in service to make sure the air conditioners are running properly and things like that. So that's really it in a nutshell. What we're asking for. Okay.
Is there any public comment at this time regarding the Comcast presentation? All right. If not, I don't see any reason to have any sort of rebuttal at this time, so we'll close this public hearing at 7:09 p.m. And we will transition into the public hearing for the duplex development. And I believe there's a gentleman representative from Tyler Group. Is that correct? If you don't mind, we'll call this one to order at 7:09 as well.
Hello, thanks for this opportunity to present this project. My name is Patrick Hagan, 24 Hawk Drive, Vilonia, Arkansas. I'm from Tyler Group, the project manager there, and I'm representing KG Ventures in this case. They're looking to construct a 5 duplex development over there on State Highway 64, Main Street, and close over there to, I believe, South Mount Olive. This will be in the highway mixed use zoning, which does allow for duplexes. It will be screened from the highway used for privacy fencing. We will be required to bore under the road with a 6-inch water line to service it with water. Gas is on our side, and sewer runs through the middle. All these buildings will be able to fire code. They're 66 by 30, but that's roughly 1,800 square feet each. A asphalt drive will lead down to them. Parking will be roughly 5 spaces for each, and a water line will be capped off at the bottom for future expansions that go south of it. Don't have much else to add other than that.
Okay, thank you. Any, public comment at this time regarding the, duplex development? All right, we'll take that as a no. Is it, Mr. Hageman? Is that
Yes.
right? Mr. Hageman, thank you. We will adjourn the public hearing for duplex development at 7:11 p.m. We will now, unless anybody has any reason not to, we're going to go ahead and progress into the normal Vilonia Planning Commission meeting. We will call this to order at 7:11 p.m. Thursday, September 26th. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes for August. We have, I believe everybody received the minutes, and I will spare you my reading, because I've done it in the past, and some instances, whatever else. Is there anybody that has any comments or concerns at this point in time? If not, I'd entertain a motion to pass. Would you accept?
I'll make a motion to pass.
Okay, we have a motion, Todd.
Second.
And a second by Ryan. Accept the minutes for August meeting. Is there any other comment? Not all those in favor of accepting the minutes from August, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. Okay, we have no business items for old business, so we will roll right into the new business. And the first one is the Comcast site plan. So, as Mr. Coker, I know you've had a lot more experience with these site plan presentations from outside the city limits and within kind of the planning zone, or whatever else you want to call it, that's outside the city limits. So there's really no jurisdiction, especially when there's no street development.
No zoning.
No street development or anything of that nature. So I don't even know if there's a, since there's really nothing for us to address or approve or anything like that, I don't know. I'm here for comments, but I don't know if there's any reason to vote.
I have a question.
You bet, go ahead.
Okay, so where you are, I guess your proposed location, it's really close to our industrial zone. Why didn't you choose to locate in the industrial zone?
I'll have to get you, I didn't pick the, but we have a real estate team that's based in Atlanta, and they picked the piece of property. I have really no good answer to your question. I mean, I'm happy to research it, and I can get back with you. I'm happy to do that, but I didn't even know that there was an industrial zone there, and
Okay.
I'm sure they use a realtor or someone here locally to
Here, I'll show you real fast.
okay.
So this is where you're locating right now, so right there, and then this is industrial.
Okay. I guess maybe, and I'll go back to
And
Sure.
there might be a lot right there that you could buy from the Chinese.
Please don't bring that up.
Thinking through this, just from being, from looking at that, to the fact this is a static location, and we really won't need a daily egress, ingress into this piece of property. I think that's probably, plus it's right, there's a utility easement that runs right along 64, and I think that's the way we're going to be building, burying forward, putting the fiber in that utility easement. So it may have been the fact that it just fronted
Right
beside that utility easement. I think that probably is the most logical answer I can come up with.
Ronnie, we appreciate you.
I have one more question.
Sure.
Will you be planting something to buffer it so it's not an eyesore from the?
Yes, I looked at the lot tonight, Kim, and there's a lot of like brush and nice sized pine trees all over
Okay.
that lot.
Okay,
So
okay.
I think there's probably a way that we can somehow, make it look very, again, it is just, there'll be a paved, drive to the building. There's lighting also around the building, and the generator will be behind it, certainly as a buffer, but, buffer if the generator would run. But we could do landscaping, to make it look aesthetically right from the highway there.
Perfect. Yeah, and your lot looks like it's big enough, you're set back far enough, so there's plenty of space for you.
We appreciate you.
All right.
Thank you. Y'all are free to hang around. If you want to leave, that's fine as well.
I just want to say thank you very much. Appreciate that.
You bet. And just as a reminder, I will give your
Yes,
card
Bill,
to
yeah,
Kelly,
I'll get that. I'll get it
take
taken care
it
of.
for the fee.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Hagan. We will go over the duplex development site plan at 968 Main Street. Tyler. The second item on the agenda. Any questions, comments at this point in time?
So according to,
I do want to be sure that we get it in the record that we received the revised site plan.
Yes.
And the one that we have, I believe the last one we received, I don't have necessarily a date on it per se. Well, hold on, maybe I do. Okay, that's not right. I got the title mark here. Looks like the date's 8/22/2024. Is that your latest site plan?
You mind if I come up to it, sir?
You bet.
I don't believe for the corrected one, we had to change the date. I do have 3 copies, full size of the corrected one, if you guys would like to see that.
Say that one more time to your mic, if you don't mind.
So I don't believe we changed the date on the corrected one, but I
Okay.
do actually have 2 copies of the full size plans for that one, if you guys would like to see that, I can pass them to the commission.
This is the one that's got the cul-de-sac on it, correct?
Yes, sir. So we originally had an emergency vehicle and utility vehicle turnaround located.
That had the
in
hammerhead on it.
Not only did that kind of present a hazard of vehicles backing up into the building, which was really always employees were trying to protect it, but nice one. But also, so the head of the tower, Mr. Tim Tyler, the fire chief. So he's looking for more of a fire department compliant, 48-foot radius on that cul-de-sac for a turnaround emergency vehicle.
So you visited with who was that? You said,
That's Mr. Tim Tyler, the former fire chief of Greenbrier.
Right.
I also spoke to the fire chief before and we did about it.
okay. Gotcha.
So the one thing it didn't have was the radius of that turnaround. Did you say what it
It was
was?
a 48-foot turnaround radius, which is a minimum fire code in Arkansas.
right, but they still, once they make the loop, they can't, there's not a 40-foot radius on
Top
the
of it.
island. Yeah,
Yeah, kind
they
of flat
can't
area.
turn left. So even if they come in and around, they can't make that turn left to get back out.
We haven't done the hard math on it. I believe it would still be good.
I can look at it, it's not even a 20-degree radius. I can look at it and see.
Talk over, go up there and then have to go through.
And you have to go left to get out, yeah.
Is
If
that
you
what
were-
we're talking about? So once again, our boss did look at it, the former fire chief, he said it was okay. I understand your concerns about one. I can't confirm through actual.
Okay, I'm telling you, it's not okay. So,
So, Kim, I want to be sure that we're explicit in anything that we're taking exception to. So what are you trying to,
let's say that,
that's just a point. Here you go.
sorry, did I steal your copy here? So, right here. Just looking at it, that's maybe 3-degree radius, but so when you come around here, this has to be a 20-degree radius, but really, it's really this. So if that's the radius, then at that point, it would go out like that. And that has to be a minimum.
But could they not just ditch the island?
We could just ditch the island, it'd be pretty easy to fix. And if that's one of the conditions of the planning commission, that's something we can address and head back to you guys tomorrow.
So, according to our code, the overall lot is, okay. So in the control of development and subdivision of land regulations, on page 31, okay, sorry, on page 30. No residential lot shall be more than 3 times as deep as it is wide.
And Kim, I read that as well. My concern here again is that obviously this is not the first time this piece of property has come before us, right?
Right.
And this, at some point in time in history, and evidently it was several years, maybe decades ago, the shape of this lot came about. And so do we allow them to develop the piece of property as it is? And given their situation,
So
I'm willing to,
it means
overlook
that they would
certain.
have to actually like redo the boundaries on it, so that way it would meet our code. So I get that someone somewhere along the way made a lot that was this shape, but they could replat it. So,
That's a question on that. Then.
mhm.
Is there a way for me to get some kind of exemption on that kind of
Can we
ordinance?
allow them from a variance to have that, and given this situation?
I'd be good with that.
Because of
Because you're not gonna change the lot size. Yeah. That's the way it is. Yeah, and ain't nobody gonna sell them land on either side.
No, unfortunately not.
So by doing that, they'll have to go in and put in actual, like a road that meets our code. Hold on, let me see. Okay, so in this section, what type of road do they have to put in?
But
To
I
serve
think
it.
it's just a private
It's a
drive.
private drive.
It's currently an asphalt private drive.
And so there's that part there, I believe it's 6 point,
That the city won't have to maintain it.
right,
Won't cost the city a dime.
6.2.10.
6.2.10? I don't have a 6.2.10. Oh, okay, hold on, sorry.
So it's kind of,
If I'm gonna ask a question on that
you
one as
bet,
well.
sure.
Will you guys be requiring curb and gutter on that one as well, or would you prefer to say just a flat asphalt surface?
Oh, your parking lot, your driveway?
Yes.
It's a private drive. I don't think we have.
You don't have,
That's like telling me I gotta put concrete on mine.
yeah, no, it's a private drive.
Okay, I just wanted to show it all.
You will have to drainage wise,
Yes.
make sure you can't put it on someone else.
Yes. We'll do
That
it
would be code to check on that.
during the, site planning process, we'll do a proper drainage, to make sure that water's leaving outside exactly the same volume.
So when you say you're doing a drainage study, so
Yes, sir.
would you provide that back to us? or-
Yes, sir, we can provide that to you. Well, our team's engineers will get on that.
So what are you looking for here tonight? Like if, because that makes me think, hey, you would resubmit something, and so any approval that we would have would be contingent upon you providing us this drainage study. If you were, that was your intent, is to go ahead and provide us extra documentation and things of that nature.
Yes,
Before, or something of that state. So I'm just trying to,
no, I understand what you're saying. So this is kind of approval to begin the project here, is I believe what we're seeking here,
Okay.
to go out there and get permission to, of the concept, for example, we can build duplexes on this side, and this is the configuration you guys like.
okay,
Then we'll go back to our engineering and make sure these are drainage requirements, construction requirements, and such. It should drain roughly the same as it does now.
Right.
It's a mostly flat lawn as it stands,
Yeah, it'll box out.
and it still don't fall out because of the current design and our current
Right.
work. Just if you guys wanted to see the hard numbers on it, we can provide the hard numbers on it, but at the current time, especially with the lot coverage that we're gonna reach with this, it shouldn't affect water characteristics much in the first place.
well, one of the things that, when we've talked about this in the past, and of course I'm speaking to this individual here, we're not civil engineers, and so we put that on us on the developer,
Yes,
that they are developing to the standards that are
Yes.
required.
and we can submit those through the process, like I said, if you'd like to see that, we can show green basin and whatever you guys think through that.
Okay. Go ahead, Kim.
So I want to be any curb and gutter. That's part of our standards in developing.
Curb and gutter for why? Because it's not a public street. It's a private drive. It'd be like, so.
Like your driveway.
Yeah.
But it's not.
It's just like Bill Jones's subdivision down here that was dirt roads forever, down Church Street. That was all private drives, it was all put in. That whole subdivision was private.
Well, and I think of it more of, we got into the discussion when this development came in with the newest pizza place over there by Lane Dental.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was originally, I believe, a private drive as well, that was developed out in front of Lane Dental. And it wasn't provided because I think that was the intent, was to have it private drive and they were going to maintain.
One comment if you don't mind on that as well.
Yes.
Curb and gutter would also affect drainage characteristics of the site, because it channelizes the flow quite a bit more. It's currently being, and we probably have to find focus to get that out. At that point,
If we were to provide some drainage filter,
yes, versus right now, it should shut off the site.
it's shut off over the creek.
Yes,
Across the two passes.
yes.
So 6.1 or 6.11.4 multifamily subdivisions abutting single-family subdivisions or areas zoned for single-family use shall protect such area from potential nuisance by providing a minimum 40-foot buffer strip and a 6-foot fence or treated wood or masonry.
Yeah, but that's with more than 2 units attached,
So I know, but according to our definitions, this is an apartment complex.
If how is it considered residential?
So, but it's right next to a
It
residential.
has residential and
home.
commercial
Yes,
uses.
yes.
So a duplex, the definition of duplex, it says see, dwelling two family. When you go to dwelling two family, it's a residential building containing 2 attached dwelling units. And then when you go to apartment complex, a development consisting of residential apartments, multifamily dwellings, and or more than 1 two-family dwelling on a single parcel.
More than that.
So at this point, it's an apartment complex that you're putting in next to 2 residences without a landscape buffer.
Well, we'll have
At
a
all.
private fencing enclosing it, so that won't.
Right, but this says, a 40-foot buffer strip and a 6-foot fence.
I think we're gonna find ourselves.
I truly, honestly believe that it is too small to do this on. Which is why the code reads that way to begin with. And why it's being crammed in there. And why it's missing a lot of dimensions. So on the new plan, where is the trash can going?
It's gonna be over to the old turnaround spot. Where on the previous plan, they're showing a turnaround area for emergency vehicles and utility vehicles. The trash can and confined dumpster by and reinforced asphalt will be moved there.
Right there in the middle between the last 2 units.
Yes.
Wait, here?
And did you say there was a privacy fence basically?
That will be certain.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Also, I believe currently, the intention of splitting dimensions off is just trying to make it as clear as possible to the
Right.
dimensions. I can average the ones you guys need to see, but I believe currently the buildings are about 26, 27 foot off that line already. We might be able to find some wiggle room if we should move further as well. Because I believe they're currently serviced by another 9-foot sidewalk. So we might be able to reach that 40 foot by pushing those duplexes forward and provide all the necessary buffers.
Any other comments?
So, full disclosure on this one, I work for the person putting this in, or am a subcontractor of at times, so I won't be voting on this one. But, my opinion is it's a perfect fit for what's there. But that's my opinion only, and I won't be voting, so I will recuse myself.
So, the other thing is, so a cul-de-sac has to have a minimum right-of-way of 100 feet.
On the public road. Only public road, it's a private drive.
It's still basically a subdivision. It's still,
I don't see it, so.
It's not a subdivision.
so, what was the street, like, Eagle Street
Eagle Street is city street.
now? Isn't that the one that was, going to Lane?
What now? Which street, which one?
You talking about the one behind the sun?
Yeah, so it's, even though it's a private drive, it's not like it's your driveway. It's still a
Still
road that is being
driveway.
accessed by people. It's not a single drive for one resident. But yes, technically
It's a
they
private
will
driveway.
maintain it.
The owner of the property owns the driveway.
Mhm.
Just like you own your driveway in your house.
And it says, you know, further, 6.2.10 private streets are permissible in form of cul-de-sacs and short loop streets.
If the cul-de-sac's just for the fire department, it's a requirement for emergency vehicles. That's right.
I agree with that.
And we will go ahead and adjust that reuse we talked about for the 20 foot to make sure that reaches it as well.
So, and they are putting the fire hydrant in.
We're putting a steamer hydrant right there by the highways and services around the properties as well in case of emergency. And we'll be running that 6-inch all the way across the property to the end and cap it off with the blow off valve. That way you guys get the
Right.
out there.
It's in further.
That was, you know, before you sent this last plan with the cul-de-sac, I'll be honest, you know, we had to have something different.
Yes.
Rather than that hammerhead.
Yeah.
So, this is an improvement in what you were looking to buy.
And if the city would like to put a conditional approval on this, that we have to meet certain conditions, such as approving that 20 foot radius, anything else that you guys want to add.
The drainage.
The drainage. Anything else you guys want to put on there, we're more than happy to work with you guys on that as well.
So right-of-way paving width, it says every subdivision shall be served by an adequate system of publicly dedicated streets or their private counterparts,
Subdivision.
or their counterparts as specified herein. But it's an apartment complex, according to our code.
I look at it as a private street for residential development. You may.
Disagree out there. We've got to, I mean, we've got to move forward with this property for something.
If somebody's looking to develop on it, right, and it's,
But the curve is literally going right up to the edge. Normally, you would at least have a 5-foot buffer, landscape buffer at the edge of the property.
we can
And this
determine and set the radius. I mean, I think that's a reasonable thing we can potentially ask this board to work in. So let's kind of go through, just try to find the means to compromise here. You were asking Kim for a 20-foot radius right there for that turn, right?
Where the island currently is.
Yes. I don't have an issue.
I don't do it.
Okay. Anybody have what we're
The
concerned about?
drive has to be a minimum of 24 feet wide.
It is. I don't think I have a label on there right now.
Why does it get narrower? How thick is it at the neck?
At the neck at the very front?
Yeah.
I believe it's currently 20, but we can expand it.
So then,
It's just currently showing as a training right now.
So then you have to,
And you
the
want
drive.
you were wanting 5 foot
There's
buffer
no
at the
under
end,
parking.
the terminus of the 5 foot buffer at the terminus of the cul-de-sac, correct? Okay. I don't have an issue with that.
But if the fire chief said 40 or 45, then you have to do, he overrules me.
I spoke to the fire chief previously about this site. I believe actually today, and he's been pretty happy with what he's seen out there so far. He's the one who suggested the steamer hydrant at the very top. Jimmy Hoodman.
Yeah.
And I'll continue to work with him during this process to make sure we're doing
So,
all fire code that that's required, and the state of Arkansas requires.
you bet.
So right now, buffer to 20-foot radius,
I got a 20-foot radius, I got a 24-foot width, I got a 5 foot buffer at the terminus of the cul-de-sac.
and we're good.
No, we're not, but
I mean, it,
you don't have, I mean, you have to have the 100 feet for the, cul-de-sac. Easement, you really need a buffer zone. It says that we can apply at least a 15 foot.
We can apply it to a city street
No.
or road.
I measured the
Do not
cul-de-sac,
conform uses.
I measured the scale of the cul-de-sac before I came up here off of the software I had, just because I was curious what that diameter is. East to west, it's 96 feet.
Mhm.
We're really close there.
Yeah, should be exactly 96.
Is it 96? Okay. So,
I believe that's usually a 50-foot right of way placed around it. That is normally be necessary.
okay.
Which we can show that as a 100-foot radius or 100-foot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
right
just,
of way, but it feels a little excessive for a small lot like this.
I'm going to work with that, I'll be honest. Kim, what other concerns did we go through those?
Well, if they were individual lots, the side yard setback would be 10 feet on each side, which would be 20 in between them.
We're not seeking to separate this into individual lots at this time. It's going to remain one lot, 1.47 acres.
See, I had a couple other things I was going to check here because I had written down. I think that last plan had addressed that side. And then we had a private drive. You're showing the easements on there, I believe. My understanding, you've already talked to the water.
Yes.
As far as boring.
Yes.
Okay.
And minimum width that they want for the line, 6 inch, 8 inch, or 10 inch. They want us to carry 6 inch across.
Okay.
Fire protection is a 600 foot to reach all properties in there. We will have, I can't remember the proper name for it, the box that has the emergency keys for the gate in front for fire service.
Right.
We'll be meeting all those requirements. Fire code requires a minimum of 10 foot in between each buildings. All of them are a minimum of 10 foot currently. So coordinating with them, coordinating with one of the city sewer. Time to the existing line out there and our method of tying in. We'll have to drop a manhole in the back of it.
Mm-hmm. So you're gonna have a forced main to go back into the, just a force.
I think that's gravity to that.
The northern part will be gravity, the southern part will require a pump. So the pump will be maintained once again by KG Ventures and Vilonia.
Okay. meet the minimum lot dimensions.
For what?
Minimum lot dimensions shall conform to the city requirements, zoning ordinance, minimum lot dimensions, duplex, 70-foot width, depth, 100 foot. That's a
No, they
minimum. That's a minimum.
What is for what?
For, it says duplex, duplexes.
No, that's for a single duplex. That's not for an apartment complex like this.
So,
That's for a single, that was if it was a single duplex on a single lot.
okay, so the apartment building, 40 units or less, 8 foot by 100 foot, they're still wider. They still meet those minimum dimensions if you go to the apartment building.
And I believe there is actually something similar to this in Vilonia already, up there on, I think, Sims. There's that, small, I guess townhouse community, the double-story duplexes over there.
Right there on Central.
Simpson, there you go.
Right there on Central.
They're actually quite close together.
They're actually closer to that.
Are they really?
Mhm.
They're 10, I think they're actually 10 foot.
I think they're exactly 10 foot.
Those are down.
So I got a question for my clarification.
Yes,
So
sir.
the private drive and everything. So does the private drive apply to the highway corridor with the, 542, or 2 for the distance to speed, like between driveways?
But, you know,
You gotta let them have their property. You don't put it over.
We're actually using the existing entrance.
I just didn't, with the private drive, that was,
that's one of those things I brought up before, you know, when we were talking about the mobile home, and honestly, from that standpoint, I can, it's an existing drive, you know, going onto the highway, so, I was going to.
You gotta let them have it.
That's right. And
You gotta have that.
That's where it exists.
That's right.
It's always existed.
Yeah, well, you gotta have that. That's your property. Period. You don't have to.
I was going to overlook, it's not like they're going in there with green field type situation, something else.
just clarify that.
Yeah.
That was mentioned for them. So you have, same owner.
All right, well, what other items here do we want to get addressed for, and how do we want to, does anybody want to speak up on how we want to, because he's going to be making revisions. Do this site plan. Do we want him to, would we like for the group to go back, revise the site plan, resubmit for another review next month?
Well, so this isn't a site plan, this is a survey.
Okay.
A civil engineer will have to provide a site plan.
Right, but we have to approve that they can put it here before they're gonna spend the money for a civil engineer to go.
So, there needs to be a 25-foot setback in the back. What about a sidewalk? Or are we gonna have them provide a continuous sidewalk like we would for other developments?
Along the Highway 64.
Well, in front of the parking that connects to Highway 64, yes, and along Highway 64.
They wouldn't time anything out there.
Yeah.
It'd just be a random strip just on its own.
I know, but that's how development works, and then when someone develops next to it, they continue it on.
Someone develops what, the rest of it's bought it.
I mean, yeah, I don't think the neighboring owner would be looking at
I mean, you got a house on the back side and a house on the front side, they're not gonna put a sidewalk and tie it all together. You'll have a sidewalk of what, 65 foot, just set in the middle of 64,
120.
120.
And for example, Conway would use in-lieu fees in areas like this, usually areas that don't have any sidewalks around them, they have a going fund for all sidewalks in the area. You'll pay the in-lieu fee per foot of concrete that you report
Like
for
an
that.
in-lieu fee.
Yes, sir, and then that would be spent repairing or improving infrastructure on the parts of Conway.
I got
So that's traditionally, we would do, for example, in Conway, in this kind of situation.
you. Do like an in-lieu.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha.
And we can pay that too as well, if this doesn't need sidewalk. we can do an in-lieu fee.
Okay. And you will have an engineer stamp
Yes,
Is that wrong?
we have Mr. Stacy Aiken working on it, to be able to stamp it.
Okay.
So, when they resubmit, so you have to have the property owner's information on either side or on the surrounding boundaries. Would it be helpful if they put the actual, like the location of the actual buildings on either side?
Not for me, I don't, why would we need that in this situation?
Right, they're developing this one piece.
Right, but don't you want to see how things look as a whole?
On the,
How it affects the surrounding area?
so you want me to tell them to go survey somebody else? I don't know about that.
No, it would be more of like a vicinity map.
Property line is all we have to go. I mean, that's all we have to do.
Yeah.
That's the only thing we're discussing this property,
Yeah, and,
not the neighbor's property or neighbor behind the property.
and the thing is, I want to be sure that, you know, this is not a conditional use. This is an approved use within the,
That doesn't meet our code
we're having,
because they're cramming too much on.
I think this is going to be a tight site no matter what goes on there, right? And we have somebody that's willing to develop that site. I think it's, we're tactically trying to, I think, try to help that development.
May I ask one question on that? please?
Yeah.
So if we're trying to cram too much on there, if you don't mind.
You are.
So duplexes are allowed in the highway mixed use zoning,
Right.
and the maximum lot coverage in highway mixed use zoning is 50%. This is only 50%. So we are still within maximum lot coverage, and we're using an approved use for highway.
Why didn't you include that on here?
Because
You haven't included a lot of information on here.
and we can definitely send it to you guys. It's not currently on here. It was on a separate email with the letter of intent.
It doesn't even have how many acres are here.
1.47,
We got that on our email.
which is also with the letter of intent.
Yep. Percent of parcel covered by impervious surfaces, 50%, proposed parcel 30, proposed parcel size. Okay. Where, anybody want to? Or, I think at this point, we will need a engineered site plan.
Yes.
You know, from that standpoint.
And we can definitely move on to it. This is more preliminary site plan. We're looking to do out here, make sure you guys are okay with it. Get a permission to move forward. Go from there.
I'm trying to think of, if we make a motion for something, what does that motion look like, right?
Because it would have to be a motion for accepted with.
But and I don't know why we need to accept something that's already an approved use,
Exactly.
you know, as far as that goes.
Well, and you're not approving a site plan because it's not a site plan.
That's right, but it's not as similar as yours. Right. So I think we give him feedback and an indication, hopefully all of our discussion tonight has indicated that we're willing to.
Yes.
As a planning commission, we're willing to work with him.
I'm willing to go with it, yeah. I'm willing, with a few changes, yes. I know we can make it work. Yeah.
But the way that this is set up, now you have, see, I wish I could see where the two, one of them is set further back, right? And then one of them is set at the street. So now you have a situation where you have headlights going straight into someone's
They're putting the fence
side
on
of their house.
It's
They're putting the fence all the way around it.
entirely around the perimeter of it, so what we don't.
Yes, but it's not 100%. You don't have a buffer. The fence is literally on the curb. Oh, there's not a curb,
Right. Fence can be on the property
which
line.
is poor design.
I live on the corner.
Well, once again, a curb would like variance for them, which would require additional engineering at the end of the side.
Okay. Do you need a summary of items, or have you think you've taken the
think I've taken them down. If you guys would like to send me an email summary tomorrow, I'd be happy to have it to start working on the project there and make sure it's up to code there with you guys.
You have notes as far as that goes. We will have some
Yes.
preliminary meeting minutes that will probably be available over the next week or so, and then we can probably get back to you.
That'd be excellent, sir. Thank you for your time.
All right. Any other comments for Mr. Hagerman? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for your time.
Good. All right. Next item of business is the zoning variance. Mr. Stewart.
Absolutely.
Appreciate your patience tonight.
Oh, I understand. I'll be doing the same thing if I can get the variance. So, appreciate you. I thank you for allowing me to speak in front of you. I'm Coy Stewart. I'm the owner of Vilonia Mini Storage right here beside us. You know, I am here and looking for a variance as, you know, part of my property has been grandfathered in on a current, you know, site plan that I had worked with Trey Foster with and got, you know, taken care of. You know, since the purchase of the property from me in 2016, I went ahead and built out 2 slabs that were already there. The buildings were taken off, you know, from the tornado. You know, I have, you know, developed and updated the property, you know, put in about $800,000 worth of tax revenue through the property already. And I have, I called Keith Hillman and was asking, knowing that he's gone, but when this started, I called Keith and said, Keith, you know, can I, you know, start the site plan for this lot up front? And it was told to me that that lot may be perceived differently than the lot that I had currently grandfathered in and built out on. You know, so I am now here, and after speaking with Trey Foster, you know, I called him because I had worked with him on the site plan previously, and we have got, you know, he gave me some suggestions and said that I would need to come and meet with you all. Hence the reason that I'm here today for this, you know, the purchase of the property was both lots when I purchased from the same family that the property had been ownered with, and from what I can tell, before the 90s. So, you know, when purchasing it, you know, mistakenly thought that the whole thing would be a grandfather clause, and I'm here to determine what we need to do and asking for the variance for this parcel.
And Mr. Stewart,
Yes.
So within section 3.2.1.2, there's kind of some guidelines here as far as variances and how they apply. Okay. And it says, and this is under a section called the Board of Zoning Adjustment. Right? We've never had an entity called the Board of Zoning Adjustment. Then it's the Planning Commission, because it's supposed to be made up of 2 or 3 members of the Planning Commission and so forth. Anyway, Planning Commission has really just heard these issues. Okay. But there's some guidelines here within the zoning that says the Board of Zoning shall not permit as a variance any use on a zoning that is not permitted under the ordinance. So we can't provide any type of variance on a use that is not permitted in that zone. So this is town center. Many storages are not permitted as in town center, and so therefore we can't even talk about it. I mean, variance. We can talk about one, but we can't provide it.
Okay. So, you know, speaking with Trey Foster, the first thing that was stated was, this is all lot 2, block 3. You know, he said, just survey it into 1. So, my statement is, I don't know that I even need a variance. I don't understand, you know, it was a statement, you know, this is all one lot. Okay.
Any development on that property falls under the current zoning. and then the town center, if it's many storages, it's not allowed. Now, that's just us interpreting the rules as the planning commission within the zoning ordinance. And so, in the only way that because I've kind of read through this 2 or 3 times to see, well, what would Mr. Stewart do? And you would need to actually file to have that property rezoned.
Yes. Okay, but is it not part of my current property?
I mean,
That's
you own it, so I guess it's your
correct.
property.
But what I'm saying is all lot 2, block 3. There's just 2 separate legal descriptions on the same lot.
But any development on any type of commercial development at this point in time falls under the current zoning, right? And so that current zoning doesn't allow any type of mini storages.
When did you buy the property?
In 2016.
So so we know we can't do the variance, but if you wanted to go down the road of doing the rezoning, that would be similar, kind of what we had.
Sure, have the public hearing
Public
and
hearing.
things of that
And
nature.
then we make a recommendation to the city council, and then the city council would vote on, at that point, they had final say on whether or not the property zoning would be amended or whatever. From that standpoint.
So it was already zoned that when you purchased it.
The town center, correct. But hence,
The new zoning, they called it, VSD, the old zoning was called town center.
but what I am saying is, this is all one parcel. There is a section line that a surveyor has placed on there. It is still lot 2, block 3, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And hence I've got 3/4 of the property that has already been, and since my purchase, it has been, the building site plan has been accepted and I have built buildings and moved forward. So what my question is, I don't know that I even need a variance. It was just a question, well, I'm not sure, so I need to bring it to you all. So that was here today. This is all lot 2, block 3. I own all of lot 2 and part of lot 3. So I understand the legal request, but at the same point, am I not grandfathered in on that?
In my interpretation, no. Now, we're not the enforcement arm. I'm the
Sure, I
interpretation
understand.
arm. And so, any type of commercial development in that zone at this point in time, if it's not, that it needs to be part of the approved uses, or if they're conditional uses, then we gotta go through the public hearing and things of that nature. And if neither one of those, like mini storage, then you would need to come back and try to have that property rezoned into a different zone.
Okay. Yes, sir. If it is, but the statement is, I have had it, and a site plan accepted and moved forward already, and that parcel did not get completed at that time. So my question is, if I didn't have to have that there, why would I have to have it here when it's already, what is the separation on the same lot?
When did you build the units?
1.5 years ago.
You built storage units 1.5 years ago?
1.5 years ago.
And you brought it to us?
Like I said, we're
And
not
you brought it to us?
we're not the enforcement side.
All right.
And so we're just the.
I understand completely. So, all right. So as far as the variance is concerned, that has absolutely nothing.
Well, we cannot, we couldn't grant a variance, or vote on a variance or anything else because this is not an approved use within the zone. That's where your property comes.
All right. Thank you for your time.
You bet. Appreciate it. Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
All right. I spoke with Trey regarding the street plan, here, I think last week or so. What needs to happen in talking with him, he thinks there's still a couple of items that need to be addressed and corrected, potentially. So we need to have a working session, most likely, in order to, one of the things, Kim, like you brought up, some of the cross sections, you know, as far as the diagrams and things of that nature, right? So we need to have a working session to, go through and probably have Trey, because he was talking about some highway department criteria and the way those cross sections are developed and things of that nature, and traffic counts and how they're dependent upon that. So, I said all that to say, we don't need to try to make a recommendation to the city council as far as our master street plan at this point in time. He thought that we'd probably be able to get to a working session, if not in October, for sure in November. So, kind of contingent upon his workload as far as that's concerned. He is still, on his to-do list on UDO as far as that. So I think he's, I don't know how much progress he's made, but because I know we kind of turned that over to him. All right, that's my announcements for tonight. Anything else? Mr. Hagan, I forgot as well, there's a $50 development fee.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure that's probably, maybe you want to wait till next time as far as that's concerned.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other comments, questions before we? All right, we will adjourn. I've got 8:02 p.m. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.